Welcome back everybody to Extreme Off-Road Silly Bills, and today we're dealing with the 2022 BMW M5 CS. This now has 912 horsepower, 663 pounds-feet of torque from a 5.4 litre twin turbocharged V10, nicked from an older M5, and it now weighs 3,300 pounds. Still has its all-wheel drive system, but it now has off-road tyres and off-road suspension to go alongside it, and it can now do 0 to 60 in 2.362 seconds. 0 to 104.798 seconds, and going to a top speed of 214 miles an hour. So basically put the V10 in it because it's from a previous M5. Still one of the best engines that BMW have ever used, so yeah, figured we'd do that, and it does produce a little bit more in the way of power than the standard engine, which when you fully upgrade it, so by about 12 horsepower. So yeah. Car wise, in terms of its stats, well, yeah, all fairly solid to be honest. No real issues that are glaring there at all. Handling is on obviously the lowest stat, but that usually is the case for a car on this series, so no real massive concerns there, and it is certainly higher than other vehicles that we've used on this series in particular. So yeah, but off-road capability, braking, launch, and acceleration are all the better side of this car as well. So yeah, in terms of actual physical upgrades, in terms of the way the car looks, it's got a new spoiler, new side skirts, and a new bonnet. So yeah, should do pretty well, to be honest. Fastest BMW that we've had on the series so far has been the iX xDrive 50, which is still in 32nd place. So despite looking absolutely awful and being quite a heavy electric car, it's still going at 3 minutes 14.906. So hoping this can go even faster than that, because I do prefer this car to that iX, just because of the, you know, it looks better and it's a much more fun car to drive. So yeah, but that car is, you know, a rudimentary SUV, whereas this is obviously a more sporty saloon car, so that technically might have the edge in that regard, but this should be faster and more controllable, which is obviously what we need on this series. Brakes coming into handy there. This is actually only the third BMW that we've had on this series so far. We had the much older M6 35 CSI, I think it's called, from a while back. Surprised we haven't used more BMWs, but to be fair, not many have been actually added to this game. At least I don't think that many have, or maybe I just haven't had the chance to use them. But regardless, yeah, only the third so far. Hopefully this can make a good impression. Certainly isn't any trouble at all on this course so far. It does help that its all-wheel drive system is native to the car, so the understeer isn't anywhere near as prevalent as it would be if it was rear-wheel drive originally. At the end of the day, it's still quite a large saloon car, even though it weighs nowhere near as much as some have been on the series. Compare it to the Flying Spur from Bentley, for instance. Yeah, this is a lot lighter and not much, and certainly smaller as well. So it should do better than that car, which is actually the last car that we used on this series. So definitely going to compare it to that, regardless. Really rather quite agile at times, really good to get it really nicely, puts its power down out of the corners. Nearly 150 down there, which is good. Most quick cars do get to at least that kind of speed, so no reasons to assume this is going to be a bad car, quite frankly. That'll be the most power you can give this car. In fact, it's only just under 300 horsepower extra over the standard vehicle, but it does feel like a controllable increase in power and speed and acceleration. lovely through that corner, held 104 all the way. But surprisingly slower than the iX at 3 minutes 19.632. So despite being a much nicer car to drive, a much more fun car to drive, it's still just under 5 seconds slower than the iX, which is surprising because I didn't find that car to be particularly fun at all to drive. It was a little bit cumbersome, I found. So yeah, to be slower than that is a little bit disappointing. I do think it's the second quickest BMW that we've had so far though. Yes, the M635 CSI from 1986 was slower at 3 minutes 24.671. So we are the second fastest of the three BMWs that we've had on this series so far. And it's also quicker than a Ford Focus ST, a Cupra Urban Rebel Concept, as well as a Lexus RCF Track Edition, which is kind of similar to this, a Volvo C30 Polestar, Toyota Sports 800, a Ford F-150 Raptor R, and a Chevrolet Silverado LT Trail Boss. Where is the Bentley in comparison to this? It might well have been quicker, I believe. Yeah, the Flying Spur, despite being a much larger and heavier car, was actually faster than this by just over 2 seconds, so that is also a surprise. And we're also slower than the Continental GT convertible upon which that Flying Spur is also based on. So yeah, not particularly great in that regard. And we are also slower than a Hyundai Brian Herter Autosport Elantra N, McLaren 620R, Jaguar XC SV Project 8, Bath 695 Piposto, and a Volvo SB2. So yeah, despite being a very, very nice car to drive, it just unfortunately wasn't that quick. Not the slowest by any means, certainly not the slowest BMW that we've had, but considering how nice to drive it was, how quick it is in terms of acceleration, in fact this is quicker to 60 than the Flying Spur, and only marginally slower, no actually it's actually slightly quicker to 100 as well. I was expecting this to be the better of the two, especially considering this weighs more than 700 pounds less. But I guess the extra 140 extra horsepower or so over the Bentley instead of the Bentley had 140 horsepower more than this, should I say. I think that extra 140 horsepower ultimately made the difference for the Bentley. So yeah, which is a bit of a shame because I do really rather like this car. Nonetheless, so thank you for watching. Not sure if any other videos will be up after this one, considering it is the Christmas period. So yeah, but if there isn't, I'll say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you now, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.